Call to order this regular joint meeting of the Minnehaha County and Sioux Falls Planning Commissions, and I will begin with a few introductory comments. As a courtesy to everyone here tonight, please make sure that all cell phones are turned off. Please note that tonight's Planning Commission meeting will be rebroadcast via CityLink and posted on the www.minnehahacounty.org site for viewing by the general public. The two planning commissions work together on land use and zoning matters within the rural areas surrounding the city. This area is displayed on the screen. When this joint hearing is completed, the joint Sioux Falls and County Planning Commissions will adjourn, and the next regular business meeting will begin to consider items beyond the joint zoning jurisdiction with Sioux Falls. Any final action taken on the conditional use permit application tonight will take place 5 working days following this meeting, unless a written appeal of the Planning Commission's decision is filed in the Planning Office by Tuesday, July 6th at 5 p.m. In the event of an appeal, the decision will be referred to the County Commission and City Council for a joint hearing on Tuesday, July 27th at or after 5 p.m. That meeting is held in Carnegie Town Hall at 235 West 10th Street. First on the agenda tonight is public input. Is there anyone who wishes to speak on an item that is not on the agenda? At this time, the Planning Commission will consider the minutes from the May 24th meeting. Does any Planning Commission member wish to have an item removed for discussion?
Madam Chair, I move the approval of the minutes.
I have a motion and a second on the county side to approve the minutes of May 24th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes on the county side.
Good evening, City Commissioners. The minutes have been approved on the county side. Can I get a motion on the city side, please?
I'll make a motion for approval.
Megan, second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. The minutes have passed on the city side.
Thank you. For the regular agenda, we will follow our normal hearing procedure by requesting planning staff to present a report on the item that's there, and then request the petitioner to come to the podium and make a statement or answer any questions. Anyone from the audience wishing to address that item shall be recognized by the chair, move to the podium, state your name and address for the record. The planning commissions will then discuss the matter and take appropriate action. Item number 2 is conditional use permit 21-37 to allow a dog training facility, scent discrimination at the property legally described as Lot 8, Block 2 of Blue Meadows, Northwest Quarter, Section 34, Township 101 North, Range 50 West. The petitioner is Roger Lout. He's also the property owner, and he lives at 8209 West 46th Street. Scott?
Thank you. Scott Anderson, Planning Director, and I'll be doing the presentation on this conditional use permit request. The applicant is requesting a conditional use permit to operate a dog training facility out of his home as a home occupation. The applicant did provide a narrative, which I included in your packet for review, but basically for the audience and for the Planning Commission's information, he indicated that he will be training dogs in his basement, holding classes approximately twice a week, and this will be scent training for dogs, teaching to find items using using their scent. What is important to note is that there will be no boarding of any dogs overnight, so he will be offering classes for approximately 5 dogs. The class size would be limited to 5 dogs, and he would be working with those in the basement with the individual dog's owner. And then sometimes there would be work that would be done at the rear of his property. There's basically he's calling it a coach house, but an accessory building at the back of his property, which you can see on the air photo, and a garden shed. In addition, the applicant has a website, which I indicated in the narrative that you could look at. This item was discussed at our last meeting on May 24th, but there was an issue with our Zoom meeting room. So the applicant and I think a neighbor were unable to attend via Zoom, which they had wanted to do that. So we have re-noticed and sent out new notices to all the people, property owners within 500 feet, and we're going to have a new discussion on this tonight, this item. So that's generally what the applicant is requesting, and there are a number of criteria that we look at to determine whether the conditional use permit is appropriate. We look at what the proposed use would have on other properties. Is it compatible to other properties in the general area? And typically, this type of a home occupation has limited use and impacts on neighboring properties. There would be hours of operation that would be set in the conditions of approval. And we have many home occupations that operate in the county, such as daycares, craft productions, sales, and those are all done as a conditional use permit. In addition, the training would occur primarily indoors, which would minimize the impacts on adjacent properties. We next look at the proposed use and what kind of an effect would it have on the general character of the neighborhood? When we're looking at this, the primary consideration would be parking. We want to make sure that there's adequate parking for people attending the class, and they're not parking on the street or causing congestion on the street. The applicant has a three-stall garage, and I measured it. It appears that there was enough room for 6 cars to park on the approach of the property and not on the road. So this would, and the applicant has also indicated that they are going to limit the size of the class to 5 dogs, which would equate to probably 5 cars. So that would be the traffic or the number of vehicles attending these classes would be accommodated by the availability of the parking on the site. We look at what effect there might be with noise, odor, traffic, water, or air pollution. The training would take place indoors. Therefore, as the applicant indicated in his narrative, there is no dogs are allowed to bark, so that would mitigate any noise issues. And the applicant has a fully fenced property, which would provide screening from the surrounding houses, and the interior training would eliminate the noise. We also then look at the proposed use, and does it have a negative effect on the public? And the proposed use should not have a negative effect on the public. Contrary, there may even be some benefits to training animals for scent for the community at large. And then finally, we evaluate health, safety, the general welfare of the public, and the comprehensive plan. And generally, a home occupation does not harm the health and safety of the community. The welfare of the public may be even enhanced by this type of an activity, providing some kind of a benefit for the community. The zoning of the area would remain intact. We're not rezoning the property, which respects the intent of the comprehensive plan. That being said, staff recommends approval and recognizes that the proposed conditional use permit is compatible with surrounding land uses and our 2035 comprehensive plan. Staff recommends approval of conditional use permit 2137 with 8 conditions. Madam Chairman, would you like me to read the conditions?
Yes, Scott,
Okay.
will you please?
So condition number 1, a minimum of 6 off-street parking spaces must be provided. No parking shall be allowed on West 46th Street. Number 2, class sizes shall be limited to 5 dogs. No dog boarding shall be allowed. Number 3, all new and replacement lighting must be pointed downward and of a fully shielded and cut-off design as to prevent light from shining onto other property. Number 4, the hours of operation shall be 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Number 5, that any signage meet the requirements set forth in Article 17, which is the on-premise sign requirements of the zoning ordinance, and obtain a building permit prior to any installation. Number 6, that the applicant obtain a South Dakota sales tax license and collect any sales tax as needed. Number 7, that the conditional use permit is granted to Roger Loud and not transferable to any future owner or lessee of the subject property. And finally, number 8, that the Planning and Zoning Department reserve the right to enter and inspect the site after proper notice to the owner to ensure that the property is in full compliance with the conditional use permit, conditions of approval, and the Minnehaha County zoning ordinance. I'd be glad to answer any questions. I do have a couple of slides that are pictures I took. So this is the site plan that was submitted by the applicant. You can see the house and the 2 accessory structures in the back. And these are this is the front of the property. You can see my pickup, the county pickup, is parked, and there was adequate room actually behind that for another vehicle, which would allow for plenty of parking on the site, and there's a 3-stall garage there. This is looking to the east down 46th Street. This is looking back to the west towards Ellis Road. And this is across the street. It's a vacant lot. This is looking to the north east. I took this picture to show that the property, this is the applicant's property, and it shows it's fenced. There's a fence that goes all the way around the property. And I will take it back to the general site plan. Any questions?
Madam Chair?
Yeah.
I see that there's one concern people have, that what if they change their business and do dog obedience or something like that? Would they have to come back to you, Scott, to change that? Or would they be able to just roll over and?
Well, the conditional use permit, the title of the conditional use permit is 2137, to allow a dog training facility scent discrimination. So if they were going to do,
Show dogs or something?
yes, they would have to come in and amend their conditional use permit, because it's specified for scent training.
Thank you.
Anyone else have questions for Scott?
Madam Chair.
Kurt?
Scott, I have a question. Again, I hate to labor this about the parking condition, but I'm just worried that I don't want the owners of this business penalized if one of their customers chooses not to park in his driveway. How much responsibility is it after he's allowed for accommodated off-street parking, but someone still parks on the street? It's still allowed normally, correct? I don't want him penalized because this restriction is on here. Does that make sense?
I can understand, yes, it makes sense, but the flip side of that is that he does have a responsibility because he is operating that business. And as part, I sort of feel as a planner that he should be required to make the people follow his rules, and if they choose not to follow the rules, then I guess they can hit the road and not take the classes there, because I don't think, I just think that it's better if he accommodates the
Sure.
the parking on his property.
So I promise I'm almost done, but the flip side then, a neighbor complains, what happens?
Well, if a neighbor complains, I would be obligated to call and talk to them, and to call and talk to the property owner or send them a letter. And if that behavior continued with whoever was parking on the property, we could recall the conditional use permit for a review.
Yeah, so that's what I'm worried about. A neighbor calls the police, they can't do anything, but they can call planning and zoning.
Yeah.
And
It would-
you
it would-
guys would have to.
It would fall upon me or my office to do the zoning enforcement. And I would need to go out there and actually visually make sure, verify that they were parking in the street. And, that can be hit or miss sometimes. I mean, they do it one time and they may not do it again, but I would be obligated to investigate.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Guess not at this time.
Okay.
Is the petitioner here? Will you please come forward and state your name and address?
Name is Roger Lount, and I live at 8209 West 46th Street.
Any questions for him?
Madam Chair,
Becky?
I'm wondering, since it specifies no barking is involved, what behavior do the dogs exhibit when they identify a scent?
They have their own natural alert, but it's never a barked train, or sit rather. It's never a trained sit. It could be, it generally is the dog just looking at the handler. It could be something like that, but if we have any excess of barking, we ask them to leave the class, and they're sort of not welcome back.
Thank you.
Anyone else have questions for him? Guess not at this time. We may call you back, though.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else here in the room that wishes to speak to this item? Okay. Commissioners?
Madam Chair,
Yeah?
I'll make a motion to approve conditional use permit 21-37.
Is that what the conditions? Vague
That's with the
conditions?
conditions, right?
With those conditions.
Yeah, with those conditions, yes. I have a motion and a second to approve conditional use permit 21-37. Any further questions? Comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes on the county side.
City Commissioners, conditional use permit 2137 is passed on the county side. Could I get a motion on the city side?
I'll make a motion for approval.
I'll second, again with the 8 conditions.
The motion and a second to approve with the 8 conditions. Any further discussion on this item tonight? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. The conditional use permit has passed on the city side.
Any old business? Any new business? Go ahead.
For the benefit of both planning commissions, because we have the city here as well, I'd like to introduce a new planner. This is our new planner that we hired a month ago, Mason Steffen. He's just graduated, or recently graduated from SDSU. You want to come up and introduce yourself, Mason? And because you'll be working with city planning commissioners as well.
Hi, so yeah, I'm Mason Steffen. I'm from Yankton, South Dakota. I just graduated from SDSU in December with a degree in geography and GIS. Yeah, just getting started with my job after college, and so far so good. This is my first meeting ever, so it's just kind of getting to see everyone's faces and try to remember everyone, but I don't know if you guys have any questions for me, otherwise I'll just, no?
Here, I got
Go ahead, Doug.
What's the best college in the state of South Dakota?
Go Jacks.
Thank you.
And nothing else.
Thanks.
Madam Chair, I move adjournment.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes on the county side.
City Commissioners, the county side has adjourned. Do I have a motion on the city side?
Motion adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. We adjourned on the city side. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see all of you.